Hey guys, so third week in a row that I have to bring Jordanna to the doctors. We're doing a weight checkup. Things that I have changed from the last checkup to this checkup are I have been pretty much exclusively pumping and feeding her by the bottle that way. I still do put her on the breast like once or twice a day so she doesn't forget kind of like how to breastfeed and kind of how to latch. Not that I think that we're latching very well at all, but at least like she still has that bit of a habit still going. My lactation consultant appointment is tomorrow, so I'm really hoping that we can get all of this figured out and I can exclusively breastfeed, because basically right now our routine, every 2 hours I am pumping, and it usually goes like I'll put her on the breast, and then whether she gets some or not, I have no idea really. I don't know if she's drinking well or what. And then I will give her a bottle of breast milk that I've pumped out beforehand. My milk supply did dip a bit, so I did get a container of formula. So if I have no breast milk on hand, I will make a bottle of formula and give her that. But anyway, so I give her a bottle, and then when she's done that, she usually goes to sleep, and then I will pump for 20 minutes, and then we basically repeat the cycle in another 2 hours. But basically I'm making sure that I am pumping every 2 hours. That is supposed to increase your milk supply and help just kick it up a notch, which I have noticed it has increased. That's not the only thing I've done though. So I do pump every 2 hours, which is supposed to help increase your milk supply. I have been eating a lot more oats. So like I have oatmeal for breakfast, and then the oat bars, the copycat Starbucks oat bars that I have in one of my other playlists. I think it's like the Mom Life playlist. I did a little walkthrough of how to make the oat bars. So I've been making those a lot to just get a lot more oats into me. And then I actually did more research, and like ground flaxseed, wheat germ, and brewer's yeast is also supposed to help increase your milk supply. So I modified the oat bar recipe the other day and made the oat bars using, now I double the recipe all the time. So I did 4 cups of the ground oats, but instead of doing 3 cups of whole oats, because I find they do crumble a bit, I've only been doing 2 cups of whole oats. So if you go to that video and look at the recipe and stuff like that, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But then with that, I've been doing 10 tablespoons of brewer's yeast, 10 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, and about 8 tablespoons of wheat germ, just because it's a bit bigger of a, like it's not finely ground or anything. So I didn't want too much stuff in there kind of thing. So anyway, so I added that to the wheat bars, and when they came out of the oven, they smelled really nutty. So what I did was we buy the like Kraft all natural peanut butter, which is just basically ground up peanuts, and there's nothing else added to it. So I like the crunchy one, so I took that, I just spread it over top as it was cooling, so it kind of melted a bit so it would be easily spreadable. And then once it cooled down, it kind of solidified really nicely, so it's kind of like an icing on top. I love it. And actually Joseph is also just devouring them. So those are kind of like a lactation treat. I don't know how well they're working, but again, there's a whole bunch of oats in there with all the other stuff that's supposed to help increase your milk supply. And then I have been drinking the mother's milk tea. I drink pretty close to 5 cups a day of that. And whether that's helping or not, it does have all of the herbs and stuff that are supposed to help out. So it's got like the blessed thistle and fennel seeds, all the other stuff, fenugreek. And then I did buy from Milky Mama Canada. It's an herbal liquid supplement, and it's in like a little dropper system, and you take 2, like however much goes into the little dropper in one squeeze of the bulb basically, but you do 2 squeezes, so 2 droppers, 1 to twice a day. And then yeah, I've been trying to do twice a day. I've only actually managed like once a day, but it's called Leche herbal supplement. So we'll see how that's been kicking things up. But I think it was about a week ago in a video, I was only pumping like less than 2 ounces between each boob. And that was pumping every 2 hours. And then now I'm getting over 2 ounces combined. Sometimes I'm getting almost 8 ounces. It just depends on like what time of the day, and if I've gone like 3 hours in between pumping, I get a lot more, obviously, because there's the extra time. But I am getting at least like 4 to 6 ounces every 2 hours when I pump. So it is increasing slowly. But I am going to talk to the nurse at this appointment. My doctor's on like leave right now. She had a health condition a year and a half ago, and she hasn't been back since. She's supposed to be back, but she isn't back yet. So I've only been seeing like nurse practitioners and stuff like that this whole time, which obviously there's no problem with, and a lot of doctors talk up the nurse practitioners, but I haven't been able to see my actual doctor for like over 2 years now. So when I talk to the nurse today, I'm going to ask her if there's like anything else that I can do to help increase my milk supply. I have read in the breastfeeding book that I have that you can get a medication called domperidone or something like that. But a lot of practitioners don't like giving it out, and I don't know. I'm going to see if there's anything though that the nurse might suggest or that she could maybe give me to help increase my milk supply again, because like after you give birth and once your milk comes in, your boobs are like rock hard when they're full of milk, and mine have not been full like that since like basically 4 days after giving birth, I think, is when it started to stop becoming like rock hard and feeling really full. So I don't know if maybe Jordanna just really likes feeding when they're full like that or what's going on. But yeah, basically this is going to be a pretty in-depth appointment with Jordanna and the doctor, and basically just going over everything. Hopefully her weight has increased. I don't have to go and see a pediatrician about it. I think she has. She looks a little bit more like she's got more meat on the bones and stuff like that. Plus, I've been able to see how much she's been eating since we have been bottle feeding her pretty like the entire time. Like I will breastfeed, but I'm still been giving her the bottle right after every single time. I'm not chancing it. So I think her weight has increased some. She's starting to fill out her little sleepers that she stays in. She's filling them out a lot better. So I think it'll be good news today, but I will keep you posted on any tips or tricks that I have from the nurse practitioner and how her weight gain is going and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'll let you know. Alright, so I'm just leaving the grocery store. I had to get milk after the appointment, and it is insane. It's 23 degrees Celsius right now, and everybody and their dog is out. But good news, Jordanna is 8 pounds, 1 ounce. Alright, sorry we got interrupted. My mom called me to ask where the heck I was. The grocery store was super busy, and then I went to go and surprise her with a McDonald's coffee frappe, and the line was so long I had to wait until until pretty much to get to the drive-through, even to be able to like get out of the line. So I figured, well, I'm already this far, I might as well just wait anyway. So sorry, Mom. Anyway, so good news, Jordanna gained a lot this week. Actually, she's up to 8 pounds 1 ounce, which is awesome. She's over her birth weight of 7 pounds 10 ounces, which is what they wanted. And then the only tip she had for me for helping to increase my milk supply, because like these nurses aren't trained lactation consultants or whatever, so they don't really have the specialization. They have a few tips and tricks that they kind of, I think, maybe give everybody, but it's not the in-depth specialization that I'm going to get from a lactation consultant. But anyway, so she said perhaps lengthening the time between pumps from every 2 hours to every 3 hours, and I might get more that way. When I did that throughout, like, because I do that overnight. Jordanna sleeps for like 3 or 4 hours overnight, and I'll just pump when she wakes to eat. After I feed her, I'll pump, and it's about 3 to 4 hours that I have to wait. And I'll get like, sometimes I'll get like 8 ounces altogether, but had I waited 2 hours, I still would have gotten, like, sometimes I'll get 4. So I'm going to try it. I'll see what happens. I'll let you know. But I did, like I said, I did start with the Milky Mama herbal supplement. Like, it's a little dropper that you take under your tongue. I started that only 2 days ago. And one thing I did notice with that, and that with breastfeeding, every time I breastfed Joseph, I could feel my letdown. Like, it was intense. But every single time that Jordanna breastfeeds, I don't feel a letdown at all whatsoever. And that's one of the main things that was in my mind for like, oh, hey, this isn't going the way it should be, was the fact that I was not feeling a letdown at all whatsoever, which made me assume that she really might not be getting anything. But then she would fall asleep, so it made me think, oh, maybe she did get some and she's full. But as I did more research, I was like, oh, she only fell asleep because she wasn't getting any milk, and then she would just fall asleep because she was so exhausted and she didn't have a lot of energy to stay awake. So now that we kind of have a plan beyond that with the pumping and giving her bottles and trying to kind of breastfeed, but I did notice by taking this supplement that even when I'm pumping, I actually feel a letdown happen. And she latched this morning. It wasn't like the greatest latch, but she did latch, and I felt a letdown, and I saw that she was actually drinking some. So I'm thinking that this Milky Mama supplement might be working, because I've been doing the oats and the tea and all that, and it has increased my the amount of milk I've been pumping, but it still wasn't really helping with the letdown. And when I was reading the back of this bottle from Milky Mama, it actually has an ingredient that says that it's supposed to help with your letdown. So I will link the product in the description, just so you guys know like what it is and where you can get it if you want to try it. And I'll list the ingredients that they have in it, just so you guys know what the ingredients are. And I might maybe also just say like what they're supposed to help with, because all of them help increase your milk supply, but they all have other benefits as well. So like that one ingredient being that it actually helps with letdown. So I'm really hoping that it helps, because actually the last time, it wasn't just this morning when she breastfed that I felt the letdown happen. Every time I've pumped today, I've actually felt a letdown happen. So that could be super amazing, potentially, that if it's working really well. But yeah, so after tomorrow's lactation consultation, I'll let you guys know what she says there and kind of what happens during it, and we'll go from there. Like I said, I'm really hoping that I can breastfeed, because I mentioned we bought a thing of formula, And yes, it's like the supersized one. It was Similac. It wasn't like a no-name brand. It was Similac, which I used on all the boys. I really liked that brand when I was formula feeding the boys. It was really easy on their tummy and all that stuff. Never had a problem with it. So if I don't have a problem with it, I stick with that company. But this container of formula is $45. And I was using it for a week, and while my supply was low, we actually had to give Jordanna quite a bit of formula so that she wasn't just going hungry and starving. And I'm like half done the container in a week. So it just like shocks me how expensive formula has gotten. Like, oh my goodness, you know? But anyway, if I can get the breastfeeding established so I don't have to buy formula, that would be amazing. But I also have my pump, so if I can at least just get a milk supply up, if she isn't going to latch, if I can get a good milk supply going, so that way we can at least just give her breast milk, which again is free, amazing. But if I do in the end have to buy formula, not a big deal. At least she's fed and she's happy and healthy. So that's all I have to say about that. I'm obviously not against, like, I don't even want to get into the discussion of breast milk versus formula. I've done both, and with this being my 4th kid, if I can save some dollars by breastfeeding or pumping and giving breast milk, then I'm gonna do that. So, you know, if I don't have to go out and buy formula at $45 a can and I can spend that money somewhere else, then I'm gonna do that. So anyway, that's it for this week's update, and I will let you know tomorrow what happens. And then Jordanna's not going to have another checkup until her 2-month checkup with vaccinations. So that's awesome. Have a good day, guys.